Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is season 8, episode 8, and yet again, I forgot to check the microphones on the right setting, so I'm just doing that now. Yeah, it looks like it's all good. Hopefully you can hear me and we are all sweet. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. We have plenty of people in the chat right now. You're all absolutely fantastic for joining me so early. Hope you've been enjoying the footage of the Polyrachus dives. They are absolutely insane at the moment. I keep saying it like I can't get across how much it blows me away every day. I still look in there and it's like, oh my god, what am I up against? Like I said last on Sunday, this is just a small section of the nest and it is absolutely teeming. They are building on this side and on the other side at the moment, on the far right hand side of the nest, but as you see, there's loads of larvae being carried about. There's a few queens knocking about with a few males around them. It's absolutely insane. And honestly, this is just if you looked in any of the other 2 tanks that they have access to, those tanks are absolutely teeming as well. I feel like they need another extension soon. I have got more tanks available. I just haven't got the space. I need a massive, really strong, sturdy shelf built, really strong, because it's going to have some weight on it, obviously. Another bioactive tank, I expect. But we'll see how it goes. How much space can they take up? A lot, apparently. Thing is, they don't really do trails. They just kind of go everywhere. They're at that point now. There's not any more they're just everywhere. Well, I quite prefer to see it when they're in feeding trail mode, where they're not just everywhere naturally. They're actually having to make their way to a food source. They're not just all over it from the minute you put it in. Which takes me to kind of the next thing is the Polyrachus dives. I gave them that pork chop the other day. I gave them a whole pork chop. I left it in for the whole week basically, and there was holes. There was not much remaining when I took it out, but I didn't want to leave it in any longer because it is meat at the end of the day, and after a week, that's not great. But they were still eating it oddly, and it didn't look like it had gone off in any way. It sort of dried out. So that's kind of interesting. And it worked, they were happy. They were feeding on it the whole time. Yes, I did have to supplement them with roaches still, but they're just absolutely insane with their appetite. It definitely sustained them for a little while. Between that and the candies, it's we just gotta give them constant supplies of food now, which is just not if you don't give them enough food, they're constantly escaping, which is why I keep my tweezers next to me at all times in this house now, because they're just everywhere. My own fault. I should do something about that wire, but I'm reluctant to. I'd rather catch them and put them back, and we're not bothered about it, rather than not have that escape route for them. If something went wrong with a pump, then that's the only route of getting out. And quite frankly, it would be a tragedy to lose this colony now for something as stupid as a backed up pump or something, But yeah, so they ate the pork chop really well. We're probably going to be looking at doing like, I don't know, probably half the pork chop next time, like less of a bulk to it, so they can actually eat every bit of it. And I can tell you, like, we weren't sure when we put it in how it was going to go, and then they started eating it, and you watch them eating a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then you come back the next day, and then there's this girt old hole all the way through it. It's like, okay, they're definitely eating this, and and then after a few days, like it's literally in pieces almost, and like picking it up was a nightmare. I picked it up by the fatty side because that was kind of like, I hope it would hold it all together, and I had to shake the ants off. That was interesting. I kept dropping it from the tweezers. Nearly got my hands involved, but then if you like, you don't want to get your hands involved with the dyes, really. Occasionally I do, but not when there's a lot of them like this. It will hurt, and like it will sting a lot when they spray the acid and things like that. It's not something that's particularly pleasant. I have been bitten by them many, 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 many times, but not en masse yet, which I know would be a whole different experience. Normally when I get bit, it's like the odd one or two nips, or I get a few on my arm, and they might give me a few nips, and it does come up with a red bump. And when they get the acid in it, it does sting. So I wouldn't want that upon mass. I mean, if you imagine putting your hand on this colony here, like right there in that, like, because that is literally what every other tank is like. It is that many ants everywhere you look. It's just ridiculous. I love it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's everyone's dream, isn't it, to have a massive, insane colony like this? But it does get not out of hand, but you have to be very on top of it. Oh dear. So how is everyone else? Give me some messages in the comments. Let me know what you've been up to. Let me know if you want to know anything. I will say now it's probably going to be a slightly, oh, pardon me. That's the energy drink. I apologize for that. Sorry. Probably going to be a slightly shorter stream tonight, probably about half an hour stream tonight, mainly because I am absolutely shattered, and I've been writing, as you know, I've been writing up paperwork. We've got care guides and things that I'm rewriting, and so many things that I'm doing at the moment that's like mentally intensive, that I'm just absolutely blasted. I can't honestly tell you how tired my brain is. When you start writing your name and you look back at it and you go, that's not even how I spell my name. Like, I've literally not been able to spell my own name, because that's how like my brain's just gone. So you might have noticed I've been a little bit unresponsive on messages over a few days, mainly because of that, to be honest. By the time I look at my messages, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't even think. And then the minute I sit down, I'm gone. You'll do. To be honest, it's not like, a lot of it is paperwork that no one else can do apart from me. Otherwise, I would have like the care guides and things like that. I've given up on sort of where we were, and I want to take it further and do sort of really in depth, because a lot of, well, every colony that I sell, I've kept, or I am keeping myself, and I can actually give an in depth description of the ants and how to keep them, and a bit of background information, things like that, rather than just a da 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 da. So I'm really sort of working hard on making it a bit more what I want it to be, you know what I mean? And then the other things I'm rewriting, again, it's just got to be my own creation. A lot of what I'm working on at the moment has to be my own creation. Yes, isopods and things like that you can help me with, Mantis Garden, obviously. But when it comes to the ants, it's got to be me. But yeah, there's a lot of different projects I'm working on at the moment, and it's great fun. Don't get me wrong, I am absolutely packed every day. But just trying to catch up to where I need to be as well. Obviously, we've got the Weymouth show in about 10 days now? 9 days, 9 whole days. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait. We've got some awesome things lined up. I haven't put it all on the website yet. We're going to do that in just a couple of days, the last final update. And then you'll be able to see everything, the full scheduling, all the probably maps and everything's going to go on the website. in just a couple of days' time. I'm super excited about the event. I know a lot of the traders are looking forward to it, and I know a lot of guests are super looking forward to it as well, because it's sort of a new thing for the Weymouth area. So we've got a lot of the invert community coming down, obviously, to enjoy it, but a lot of the local community are coming as well, and that's quite exciting for me and quite exciting for them. So yeah, it's going to be a great day out. Obviously, I've got so much prep to do. I'm trying to get through all this paperwork and stuff before next week, because as soon as next week happens, I need to get all the show stuff ready, like my boxes of stuff, all the signs and things like that. All my paperwork needs to be there in the right order for me to deal with on the day, like all the table numbers and, paperwork, posters and stuff like that. Just there's a lot of organising to do in the last week before the show, and then obviously I've got to organise all my own stuff for my own stall, because we are going to be selling at the Weymouth show, and yeah, there's just a lot to do. And the last week's always hectic before any show. As far as I know, no organizer of any show sleeps for the week leading up to a show, because it's just such a, like, you've got so much going on in your head, so much to think about, so much to do, and so many nightmares of it all going completely wrong. So it's completely normal from what I've heard. I've been told that's normal from other show hosts. It's fine, it's to be expected. But yeah, I'm super excited about the Weymouth one. Also, after the Weymouth event, this will probably be around, or we'll probably say middle of the week following the Weymouth event. So what's that, like 3 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now? We will be releasing all the dates for next year, dates and venues for next year's shows, so that you'll be able to see them nice and early, start thinking ahead, planning if you want to work it into a holiday or something like that, because I know people have done that already. For one of our shows, they actually worked it into a week's holiday where they could come in. Happy to run you back and forth on the foot. Thank you very much, Paul. You're absolutely splendid for that. I'm going to need lots of running about. It's going to be a great fun day. Interested. In fact, I'll talk to you about that, Paul, because obviously where you're closer, we can talk about logistics of what's happening around, things like that. Yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, so we will be releasing the next year's dates within a few weeks. All of that's all completely organised already, because I'm well ahead of where I need to be. But to be honest, when you're good evening, Baz, thanks for coming in, buddy. Yeah, to be honest, when you're organising these shows, it does help to be that far ahead, you know what I mean? Baz, I just said, I don't know if you heard, I just said after the Weymouth show, we'll be releasing the dates and venues for all of 2024's events. I mean, you might have seen some of it already, as you're a bit more privy to the information as you're a trader, but we will be releasing it all to the public, which means we can start sort of advertising the events for next year, which is brilliant. Even though we've still got the Bristol event this year, it's never too early to get in there and say, actually, we've got some more events coming up next year as well. In fact, on the back of the Bristol flyers, you'll probably find a list of all of 2024's dates and venues, so that it's nice and clear for everyone and you can't miss it. Of course, I'll be putting them in all the orders and up in every shop and restaurant and I don't know, everywhere I can, you know. I like advertising. It's great fun. I like the best thing about advertising, right? And the best thing about advertising locally, I've found, is when I'm walking through town. And the other day I was walking through town and I was like, look, kids, it's my poster. And like quite a few of the shops in town have our posters in their window. Like, yeah, that's me. I'm doing that. Yeah. And you know, it's nice to see. It is nice. Like, obviously, I didn't get to see many of the Sheffield posters. I actually spotted, I think, one or two. I think it was two in the end. I kept my eyes open, you know. And I'm probably not going to spot most of the Bristol posters because they've gone far and wide, literally far and wide this year, as far down as like Torquay and that sort of way, and then as far up as I can't remember. But we went far and wide with the Bristol posters. But I'm probably not going to see most of them, if not any of them. I might get lucky. I know there's a couple in the shops locally to the venue. So if we need to go to like a cash point or something, I might get to see I don't know. You can be hopeful, can't you? You can be hopeful. It's always nice, like I say, to see a poster or something you're doing. Send me some advertisement up and I'll put them up around Sheffield. Oh, yeah, that's absolutely spectacular, JB. You're only half an hour from Sheffield. You know, we drove for like, I don't know, 7 hours, 9 hours or something. It's 300 miles for us. That's insane. Like, I do like up there though, because obviously you've just got a lot going on. You've got big cities. If you don't want to go to Sheffield, you can go to Manchester or Liverpool or Leeds, or there's a lot of what's the word? Options. If you want a day out or a trip or something. Now around here, like there's no big cities. There's no cities in Dorset. Like we literally don't have a city in Dorset. And then the biggest kind of things we've got to a city is Poole and Bournemouth, and they're technically a different county. We've got Exeter, which is in Devon, which Baz is closer to than I am. We've got Bristol, again, Baz is closer to than I am. But in it, Paul, we ain't got nowhere around here that sort of draws a big, like, is a good place to go. You know what I mean? I like Sheffield. I like the big lights. I like the accessibility of food. Pretty much any, like, what was it, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were ordering McDonald's to a bus, and it turned up, be it without coffee, and then we had to go and get coffee separately. We decided to walk and get coffee in the end at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I think we got back to the bus around 4 o'clock in the morning. 2 seconds. Sorry, just answering a message. We're closer to France than London. That is a good point. We're closer to France than most things. We're probably closer to France than we are Bristol or Exeter or any of the cities that I've just mentioned. I really don't class Poole and Bournemouth and Christchurch as a city because they are separate boroughs technically. If they all got together and called themselves Christ Bournemouth, then I'd say, yeah, that's city. I mean, they are trying to turn Weymouth into a city, Weymouth, Dorchester, and Portland into a mass city, but it's going to be a while before we get there. Born and raised Bournemouth. Yeah, see, I like Bournemouth. I do like Bournemouth, but I don't class it as a city. Probably because, like, I grew up around here, and it's just sort of rubbish. You know, you grow accustomed to what you've got used to, don't you? And I've definitely got used to it around here. I love being in Devon as much as I love the city. I love being in Devon where there's absolutely nothing. Obviously, I spent a long part of my time living on Dartmoor, and there is literally nothing, and it was beautiful. I loved it. I've gone well off track, haven't I? Wow. What were we talking about? I don't know, but one thing I was going to talk to you about, and this is a serious, serious matter. Some people might find it not so serious, but donuts are getting worse. Has anyone noticed that? They're literally getting worse. Back when I was young, you used to get a jam donut. The jam would explode all around you, and the sugar would be all over your face. And you know, they were good donuts. These days, you buy a packet of jam donuts. They're twice as blimmin' expensive as back in my day. Back when I was young, I mean. And it's just like there's no jam, very little sugar. They're soggy or stale. Or the quality of donuts is shocking these days. I am absolutely shocked. Isn't that the way? What the way I eat? What because yes, okay, it is slightly like I have no teeth, so the way I eat, I pretty much shovel like as much of it in my mouth as I can and just go for it. Like I make it work. I don't need teeth. Like the last time I had teeth was in my last boxing match, and they just got in the way. And before that, it was the boxing match before that. Teeth are like overrated. If you've got them, then yeah, fair enough, use them. But to be honest, I've got really accustomed not having teeth, and I can eat most things. Like you wouldn't know that I haven't got teeth because I can bite most things. You know what I mean? Your teeth are in the bathroom. Yeah, that's it. You know what it's like. Like you can eat most things. I don't eat apples and I don't eat crisps. I don't eat toast because it's sort of like sandpaper. But apart from that, I eat most things. But yeah, the quality of donuts is just shocking. I was really disappointed. Can you tell? It's got to me that much. I was really disappointed in these donuts. Oh, here's something, right? So if you're coming to the Weymouth show, you'll probably get to meet Mrs. Rock. Oh my God, how absolutely insane is that? She will be there. She'll be there with the kids. They'll be roaming about for at least an hour to see what's going on, see how I work and what I actually do. Because they haven't ever been to one of my shows. They just get to hear about what I do. And yeah, thank you very much, Mantis Garden. Please do hit that like button if you think it's worth liking this stream. It really does help the channel out massively. But yeah, so the kids are going to be there. The wife's going to be there. It's going to be great. What was I actually going to say? Come to Weymouth. I've completely lost track. Well, yeah, you go get to meet the wife. I know it's clicking. Yeah, all right, click it even if you don't like it. All right, we'll go with that. What was I going to say? Well, yeah, I can't remember, but you get to meet the wife, you get to meet the kids, and sort of see the Weymouth show. The Weymouth show is different to the big ant shows that we're holding. Obviously, it is everything sort of show. It's got inverts. It's going to have a little bit of history there, a little bit of the local culture. Just because we've got such a great sort of thing going on, why not celebrate it a little bit, you know? So there is like a few stands from the local museum, things like that. It's good, you know. It's not strictly inverts, this show. It is a big wide mix really, but there is a lot of inverts there because obviously that's where my bread and butter is. Oh dear, oh dear. That's weird. I was actually going to say something which was somewhat important, but it is gone completely from my brain. Huh. Oh well. What else was I going to say? Oh, something else interesting. Now, I'm not really talking much about my ants tonight. Have you noticed that? If you've got a question about ants, please do ask them because I don't have a lot to overly say. We've had loads of extra ants in the shop lately. As you know, we've updated the stock. We've got all sorts of cool things in. We're going to have even more at the show. I've kept a lot of stock off the shop until the show, just so we've got stuff held back for it. Obviously, if you want anything like merchandise, that will all be at the show as well. We've got the cool cushions. I love those cushions. I've even got one myself. Yeah, it's going to be good. What else? I was going to say something somewhat important. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Here's something interesting and slightly annoying for anyone in the room with me. I now have a drum kit. Yeah, how cool is that? It's only a silence one, don't worry, because obviously I won't get a full drum kit around the ants and other inverts which are sensitive to sound and vibrations, basically. That'd be silly. But it is one of my passions from when I was younger. I did obviously my college and all my learning and everything came through drumming. And I used to have a drum kit. I had it up until a few years back, probably about 8 years ago. I had to get rid of it, but that was a big, like I had 3 bass drums, 2 snare drums, 4 floor toms, 4 upper toms, tons of cymbals. You know, I had a big kit, and then I had the electric kit as well. Hoodies, we might have a few hoodies, Paul. I'm not saying yet, but we might have a few hoodies and shirts in stock. Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not saying anything. So yeah, I now have this electric drum kit. I'm super happy with it. I literally, the minute I got it through the door, I set it up and sat on it for about half an hour to an hour. And I was just playing and playing and playing, really enjoying it. You know, it's been many since to be honest, right? So the last time I properly played, oh, here comes Evie. nope, she's walked off. The last time I properly played was many years ago, probably before, well, it would have been before the kids came about, because they took over my drum room as their bedroom when they came about. Um, and then I've played one gig since that. I got asked to play a New Year's gig with a local band, which I did, and it was great fun. But like, I hadn't played for like 4 years before that. It was like, yeah, I suppose I could do it. Like, absolutely packed pub on New Year's Eve, but I did it. It was great fun, and yeah, like I've been wanting, like, yeah, I had to get a drum kit. To be honest, a few months back, it was around the time of the Sheffield show. I got a little practice pad because I do miss drumming, like I say. Um, and then yeah, it's just sort of, I needed to get the full kit and really have a go on it and enjoy it again. It's so, it's like ant keeping. It's really like de-stresses, but the way ant keeping has now got for me, it's a full business and it is full time, and it's, to be honest, it is a lot of stress. Like, we've got a lot going on. You know, lots of different projects, lots of things can go wrong, lots of things always go wrong, and I'm always there to fix it. But there is a lot of stress behind the ant keeping side of things now. So I needed to get something else to divert my attention a little bit. Obviously, I am training again. It's nice to get behind the drum kit, have another little bit of a workout. It's great for cardio as well. So another little workout behind the drum kit, get behind the gym, get into the office, and really sort out that work-life balance. Because well, it was about a month ago, maybe less than a month ago, I was in hospital. Obviously, I was overdoing it, and I like worked myself to the bone because my work-life balance is way off, to use nice language. So yeah, this is really sort of making those adjustments. I'm hoping that between what I'm doing with the shop and the shows and everything project wise, like the changes that I've made and the changes that I'm making at home, I'm hoping that I've really sort of got on top of my health and will be better. Because the last thing we need is me going into hospital a week or two before the show, or even at the time of the show. That would be an absolute nightmare because I need to be there. The way I am is I need to be hands on with everything. Just the way I am. Ask anyone that works with me or Ants on the Rock, and they'll know that I have to be involved in everything. Um, not that I have to take over everything. I'm happy that other people do jobs, but I like to be there, sort of watching it and knowing the process is being done how I would do it, basically. Well, no, just knowing that it's being done and right, you know what I mean? So that's sort of, I have no idea where I've gone again. I've lost myself. My brain is completely frazzled. Can you tell? Haha. um, what else was I going to say? Oh, the wife is eating cheese, apparently. I can hear she's probably cutting it. It's probably easy, but the wife does like cheese. This is a thing, right? If you've got a missus or a partner of any description, the trick is buy them cheese. Yeah? Buy them cheese, buy them chutney, and a packet of crackers. It's better than like 90% of the food you're going to get. Like, I worked this out a long time ago. If you like, no, it's not that Mantis Garden. I do delegate and I do trust people, but I like to be involved and sort of lead the way, if you know what I mean. I mean, Dean's a really good example of this. Dean does a lot of work for me, like typing posts and things like that. But I tend to give him the scaffolding, if you know what I mean. I say, here's the information I need, turn it into something amazing, and that works really well. And like, I very rarely change a word after he passes it back to me. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy to have him just do what he needs to do. But it's me just having that initial input is, I want it done like this, or this is the sort of goal that I want, if you know what I mean, because I want people to have the same vision. I want it to really achieve what's in my head, and that's why I'm not very good at delegating, I suppose, if that's the way we want to go, is because I've got this vision in my head and I want it to look like that, if you know what I mean. Like, but yeah, I mean, a bit of it is, I suppose, like just me being a bit of a control freak. Like, it is my show, like it's my baby. I'm very proud of what I'm doing, and I want to be involved in every process of it. I don't think anyone can blame me for that. Really, it's one of those things. I think anyone would struggle to give away parts of the organisation of something like this, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying I don't, because I do. I've got quite a lot of people that work for me in different ways and that I'm trusting to do different things, but I do like to give them the kind of scaffold of what to do. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm happy to let people do things the way that they want to do. That's the main thing. Like I always say, like in different cultures, different everything, people do things differently. It's whether you reach the same goal. I mean, when I was in school, I'm sorry, I'm going to burp. Many years ago, when I was in school, I used to get in such trouble for the way I did my maths, because they wanted it laid out in this little square box with this and that and a line this way. And I wouldn't do it. I would generally go, right, that's there, there'd be a line between it, and I'd go for an arrow down, and there'd be this over here, and then you come back up, and there's the answer. But it wouldn't be how they wanted it done. But we got to the same outcome. So to me, as long as you're getting to that same outcome, it doesn't matter really how you get there, as long as it's efficient and you get to that outcome. And there's, it's when you sort of get lost in what you're doing that it's like, oh dear. But no, I'm quite good at letting people do things their own way. But like I say, it's just I like to point people in the right direction to start with, at least, and say, this is what I need from you. To be fair, that's how I work as well. Whenever I turn up to any new job, I say, like, what do you need from me exactly? Like, where do you want me? Show me what I'm going to do. You'll probably only have to tell me once, twice if I'm really not listening, and I'll do it. Simple as that. Tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it. If you don't tell me what you want me to do, I'm probably not going to do a lot, because I don't want to mess up someone else's work. And if you haven't given me a job, quite frankly, I'm getting paid for nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is a difficult one. It is a very difficult one. But to be honest, I don't mind. I quite enjoy doing all the work for it, because like I say, it turns into my vision and what I'm trying to make it. Whatever, it doesn't make sense. I'm absolutely knackered and I'm just rambling. Can you tell? I'll go round in circles like this all night long. Round in circles. I have got a couple of videos that I am working on at the minute. They are in the pipelines. One of them is about the Polyrhacus dives that you see before you. A little bit of an in-depth look into the structure of the nest, how they build the nest, how they maintain their sort of environment within their surroundings, and a bit of a more, like I said with the care guides, more of an in-depth look into the Polyrhacus dives sort of society, we could say. It's going to be a really good, interesting video. It's quite a long one, that's why it's taken a while, and some great footage in there. I'm working really hard on making it a really good video. I'm not going to call it a documentary, because I'm not that big-headed, quite frankly. I can't make a documentary to save my life, but it is a really good video that I'm working on, so I'm quite proud of that one, and I'll be releasing that at some point when it's done. And the other one is about my Nikos, because they haven't been featured on the channel for ages, but they're doing absolutely spectacular and booming at the moment. And obviously they're in a ant tower formicarium, so again, really interesting to see. It's going to be another good video. That one will probably come out first because it's the shorter one, and like I said, I'll really put in a lot of effort into the Polyrhacus dives videos. I know Polyrhacus dives quite well, so there's a lot to talk about. But I am heading towards the end of the stream now. I said it would only be half an hour. Please do send me a message, a comment, or anything if there's anything you want to talk about. I suppose there's plenty we want to talk about, but yeah, if there's anything you want me to say or answer before we go tonight, please mention it now. Hello, Ants Dorset. That was one of the things that we were going to cover tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. So our hidden video code thingy majigger doodad thingy things. The first one's been found. How amazing is that? I'm not going to say who it was. They can say if they want, but I'm not going to say who it was. But the first code has officially been found in a video. It popped up. They clicked on it. They instantly went in and they got some ants with it. There you go. That's how it works. That's how simple it is. If you see the card in the top hand corner, says discount code, click it. You might have got yourself some free money. Simple as that. We will be replacing that code in the morning, first thing in the morning, so there'll be a brand new one for you to find. We might be, not this time, because we haven't put it out there yet, but I think after this time, we won't be accepting the winner to win 2 prizes in a row, if you know what I mean. Or there's going to be a time span between like you can only win 1 prize in a certain amount of time or something. We're going to have to sort something out because I have found out a few things that people, tactics that people already trying that might put them at somewhat of an advantage. But I'm not going to go into it. They sit there. I've got someone who sat there and watched almost every video back to back for like 2 or 3 days. And then he was like, oh, it's been found. I was like, yeah, sorry, man. But yes, so thank you. It makes sense. But I won't do that for this one because I haven't put out there as information available up until now. We will make that clear, obviously, from this point. But yeah, we'll work it out. It's all good. It's a bit of fun, you know. It's all good fun. I love it. But right, I am gonna get off and probably go to bed before long because I've got another big day again tomorrow. I've literally got piles and piles of paperwork next to me. This is like normally I've got my notebook, I've got another pile next to me, I've got my phone constantly going off, my computer doing all the things, emails, I've got things on the walls here, things which get stuck on the window in front of me. I've even got another little holdy thing to the other side of me. But now I've actually got a pile of paper as well to my side, which is like probably about 1.5 feet high. So we're going to work our way through that over the next day or so. And we will get it all done before we need to do show prep. It's all good. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. You've all been absolutely spectacular. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. And a massive thank you to everyone for supporting me. You're all, like I say, absolutely awesome. Big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We've got Katrina, JB, and we've got a couple, Sharon and James at the moment. I had to remember that. I'm sorry about that. Off the top of my head, my brain wasn't working, and worst timing ever. And obviously, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Answer Us and Valhalla Martial Arts. Both absolutely spectacular. If you're in Weymouth and you fancy rolling around on the floor with a load of random guys, you know what I mean? Go and check out Valhalla Martial Arts. They will put you through your paces. They are really good, and I believe its first session is always free. So go down there, check them out. It'll be great fun. Right, I will see you all again very soon. If you need me, you know where I am. So as always, for me, I'll see you again, Ant fans. Good night.